Hasn't been a happy hunting ground, Waverley against Hawthorn for Collingwood.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't, but Hawthorn have to gain some credibility and maybe get a win tonight. But Collingwood still believe they're a chance to make the final 8, so they need a win also.
And the Hawthorn team, couple of late changes. Taylor and Chick out of the Hawthorn team. Justin Crawford and Jonathan Rodman late replacements.
Yeah, of course, Holland's going to be their main person in attack for the Hawthorn team. Also, Jonathan Hay, I wouldn't be surprised if they see him fawn. And as you said, Salmon across the ruck, he'll be very important in the ruck duel with Monkhurst.
Just wonder, Nathan Buckley, we see on screen whether Shane Crawford may get the job. He played on Hurt a few weeks ago and did fairly well. And the Collingwood team, Nick?
Yeah, well, you see Scotty Burns, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the centre part of the ground. Preston Guillermo across full back, and Schwabel on Holland will be a highlight tonight. Gav Cressissa across the wing has been a terrific player for the Collingwood team after the last 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, the warm-ups have been completed. We'll go to a short break and be back with the start of the game.
The two players that were missing, Richard Taylor and also Daniel Chick, out with the flu. Drew, good calling.
Thanks, Russ, and it's a bit of a scrimmage in the middle. The ball socket forward. Crawford gets the Hawks going. In he goes to Lord. Off to Woods, and Hawthorn straight into attack with a long kick, but offline by Tony Woods. Godden took the mark just inside the field of play, and it'll be Godden's kick. Goes towards the outer side, coming in short to Razzo. Frankie Razzo kicked his first career goal in a sensation in the last round when Collingwood broke their drought to beat Geelong. He kicked it straight to Salmon, which wasn't great. Off to Shane Crawford, a centering kick, and he's given it up. Patterson takes the mark in defence. Away to Williams. Fires off the hand pass to Brown. Back to Williams in a bit of a fix. From halfback out towards centre wing. Good spoil came from behind. King, what about the former Sydney player in that win over Geelong? Oh, he's given it up too. Harford, few mistakes early in the game. Kapler towards half forward. Buckley. It's Nathan Buckley's.
And Crawford is on Buckley, I think, as we talked about before the game. That'll be interesting, Jill, to see. Crawford's got the run, but Buckley's got a bit of marking height in those one-on-one contests, Mick.
Yeah, he certainly has, Lee. It'll be interesting to match up and see how it unfolds.
No breeze, the flag's hanging limply tonight, so no advantage. It's great to see Graham back. He shares it with Salmon. Well, under pressure near the boundary line.
Boy, that was bad use by Hawthorn. The ball came across the front of the goals to Salmon, but he went back where the ball came from, and really that set up the scoring opportunity. So pretty bad turnover then by Hawthorn to let Collingwood in. It's one thing for the opposition to earn the goals, but that was really just poor work out of defence that set this opportunity up.
It was Crowe who actually turned it over, but he was put in a sticky situation. And now Monkey with a chance to get the first goal of the night. Big night tonight on Paul Salmon. Kicking from about 42 metres. Damien Monkhurst kicks well.
Yeah, just to start, big fella Damien Monkhurst needed. He's got to put that sort of impose his will on Paul Salmon, knowing that Paul Salmon can control this area of the ground, especially in the defensive 50 for Hawthorn. Monkhurst has got to use the percentage time, when to drift forward, as he did on this occasion. He's assessed his options, did Jason Wild. Seen Monkhurst drift into that part of the ground. Good percentage play, but more importantly, he went back and kicked the first goal of the game.
Gavin Brown's up on the wing, Mick. We haven't seen him up there for a fair few years as Monkhurst kicks the goal, but Brown on Kapler on the wing. Long time since Gavin Brown has probably played in the wing where he actually made his name in the late 80s.
Be pretty cool in those dugouts tonight for the interchange players. Ball knocked on by Woods. Hawthorn have it at half forward. Sockle across the ground. A race on for the ball. And just beats them out of bounds for a throw-in.
A couple of other interesting matchups. Graham's gone to rocker also. It's interesting to see Mel Michael's gone to the true full forward position, picked up by young Crode, and also Jade Rawlings has got the job on Richardson at centre half forward for the Hawks.
Salmon and Monkhurst. It comes to the back. Driven up towards half forward. Almost a one-hander. Clever play by Dennis. Youngster playing in his second game. He's lost control of it. Patterson in heaps of bother. The umpire will ball it up. Stephen Patterson, who's gone for the helmet. And we're seeing a few more players going for the helmet in league football these days. Andrew Coates, Matthew Norden and Greg Scroop, the men in white tonight, field umpires. Perfect night for football. Good run around and warm them up. Ball comes down to the front. Treleaven. Dixon. Inside 50. Not a bad kick, but just offline. And through for a minor score.
Yes, he really had the opportunity. He met the ball on the fly on the left side. That's the kind of goal you would have hoped from Hawthorn's point of view that he would have been able to kick. Certainly on the left side, Dixon, capable goal kicker, kicked half a dozen against Eagles in Perth a few weeks ago.
Nathan Buckley kicks in, and it was almost chopped off there by Salmon. It just cleared the tall ruckman. The hand pass comes in from Schauble. Schauble has to go again. They're in heaps of bother. Razzo gets the ball away to Burns. Gee, there have been a lot of turnovers early in this game. Treleaven goes short, and Dixon, kick and a half from goal. Keeps it low, another turnover. Frankie's got it again, Razzo.
Yeah, poor use that occasion by Dixon. Just didn't balance himself to kick the ball forward.
Bit high for Burns, but he's going to be able to recover. Fires out the hand pass to Monkey, playing like a wingman out here on the logo. Back to Crow. Scott Crow too slow. Treleaven gets him. Graham looking for the boundary line, and that is a beautiful kick by Graham under pressure. Oh, just sat on its point and wouldn't go out, did it? Monkey did well to Brown. Forward pocket. Mal Michael caught behind. Crow juggles and marks.
Tacked the ball in, which was good. Crow in the air. He didn't worry about Michael. He went for the ball in the air. And we saw that tackle when Crow was. That's a good mark. Just to when the ball's in fresh air, the defender might as well go for the ball because it can't be controlled by the attacking team. But when Crow was tackled, the modern players a great ability to keep the hands clear and still able to get a hand pass clear without getting pinned.
Hearing the 50, Salmon and Moncourt. Well done by Monkey, who started the game well. He's kicked the only goal. Wild hand pass to Brown. His hand pass is blocked. We're back in the centre circle. Lord goes to ground from Krasiska, and the umpire will ball it up. Talked about how Collingwood have had trouble with Hawthorn out at Waverley. Hawks have won 13 of the 16 games out here.
I'll be interested to see how the conditions develop with this, Drew. It's a cold night, and you would think the grass is going to get moist and the ball might just get a little slippery as the game goes on.
Severio had a chance, but Graham takes it away from him. Graham, returning from injury, has been good early.
And Drew, that'll be a terrific contest out in the wing between John Barker, who's obviously got the negating role on Gavin Krasiska. He has been a player for Collingwood who just basically plays like the old wingman, stays at home, and they often channel a lot of their attacks through him in that part of the ground.
Barker's kick. Dixon might have got a free kick if he hadn't taken the mark. Great mark. Collingwood still with the only goal. Pies have been out to Waverley twice this year and lost them both to Sydney and St Kilda. Good punch at the back, just evades Brown, knocked away by Crawford. Gavin Brown again, somehow gets boot to ball and bounces it just inside the line. That's clever.
Also, Drew, despite these two teams being out of the 8, they both really feel they've got a big chance of winning this game. And look, just have a look at the crowd. It's a sensational atmosphere here. Although it is cold, we had the great fireworks earlier, but it could be up to 40,000 here tonight, because obviously both teams think they can win it.
Well, I think officially Hawthorn are very slight favourites to win, which is incredible for a team on the bottom of the ladder with just 3 wins in 15 rounds. Rocker, way back near the centre of the ground. A beautiful pass. Oh, Richardson let him down. Oh, he should have gobbled it. Still here for the Pies. 40 metres from goal. Whipped away by McCabe and across the ground. Comes out to Crawford. Shane Crawford. Crow. Hawthorn. Oh, he's kicked it a mile. Trent Crow. Chance for Holland. Couldn't quite. Soccer away by Curran towards the boundary line. Once again, it refuses to go out. Well, Williams is over it.
And Tony Woods is actually on Williams. I think no matter where Williams go, you'll find that Woods may go with him. I think even though he's playing half back, Williams, I think the feeling would be Hawthorn will be trying to make sure that Williams' run doesn't eventuate.
Here's Nathan Buckley. Off the left towards the centre of the ground. Mal Michael well up the ground. Here's King. Watson, not quite. Under pressure. Crow. McCabe for Hawthorn. He was looking for the line. It was kept in by Collingwood. And now the ball out for throw-in, out near the 50.
Drew, the grass is still very dewy. Obviously, that's why I think a lot of the players are finding it difficult to actually take the one-grab marks. But it'll be like that all night, so it's the first team to adapt to these conditions will win.
Salmon against Rocker. For 11. King laying the tackle and the ball going out. And King, sometimes his disposal lets him down, but he put on 8 tackles in the last round against Geelong. Peter McKenna.
It's interesting, Drew. They're playing Sab Rocker about 30 metres out from goal. They're interchanging guys in behind him. Mel Michael, Watson, as we see a free kick for in the back to Salmon. But Mel Michael, Shane Watson, and of course Mark Richardson have all had a spell right deep in the forward line here.
Kapler takes it from Salmon's free. Up to centre wing. Interference before the ball arrived. Buckley's kick.
Interesting situation. Salmon stayed back on Rocker and Graham's pushed up the field on Monkhurst. Now this ball's going to be kicked to the leading Rocker. This is not the situation where you really want Salmon to be defending.
See, the kick went to Shawble and it's delivered beautifully to Rocker.
Ruckman aren't equipped to play as defenders. A bit unfortunate because they lost possession, but as soon as it was Salmon versus Rocker, Rocker was the one who was going to find some space. So just a little bit unfortunate that Hawthorn lost possession and Graham was caught upfield on the switch. And I think you might find that Salmon might hang back a little bit and allow Graham to charge upfield just for those few seconds before they get readjusted.
That comes back to playing the percentage. Usually you've got to run forward when you know Hawthorn has got possession of the ball.
54 metres, Sab Rocker. Off-line to the right.
It's a powerful kick, isn't it? I reckon that kick's got 65 metres. It's a big, big kick.
Ripper.
He certainly hits him all right.
Some young Pies fans, no doubt buoyed by the Pies' second win in 9 games when they beat Geelong a fortnight ago at the MCG by 10 points. Well, it had been a long time between drinks, and as soon as the month of June ticked by and we got into July, it was okay for Tony Shaw. Salmon again. Well, good use of the body by Richardson. Allowed the ball to get through to Rocker. Back to Brown. Near the boundary line. A juggle. And Crow couldn't complete the mark.
Good play then by McCabe. He actually came back, turned his body with the flight of the ball. It's very easy to give a free kick away coming back, but he turned his body, pushed back. He had the sit, Crow. Couldn't quite hold it.
Salmon down to Harford. Kicked the back of the ball round the corner. Richardson probably should have given the hand pass the first time. No room for Buckley.
I was going to say, even the way they've handled the ball in this first bit, it's going to be a tough ball handling night by the look of it, because that clean marking situation, a lot of players have fumbled the ball when they really weren't under too much pressure. So this ball is going to be difficult to handle, one would think.
Salmon gets it down. Lord got a little kick, and then Lord does the smothering of Buckley. Comes back to Brown. Well, it's a mark, but the whistle had gone before Rawlings had taken it. He goes on with it, though. Crawford going forward to the centre circle. Shane Crawford to an open forward line. Beautiful, Dixon. No mark, no free kick. Dixon's second effort good.
It's interesting to see what Hawthorn are trying to do. They've got 2 of their forwards in Dixon, and also here's the marking attempt.
Hayes up there as well. He's been playing centre-half back, Hay, but he and Crummell are playing dual full forwards, and Dixon just a bit further up the ground.
Tapped on by Crummell. Lord had to get rid of the hand pass. Crawford outside of his foot to the goal square. Dixon competes. Holland. Dutchie. Crash. Bang. Wallop.
Didn't work his way through that situation there in the goal square. He didn't have much time, Holland, but I think he turned into the traffic rather than away from it.
I think they're just trying to isolate a couple of inexperienced Collingwood defenders in Godden and Razzo on that part of the ground as the Hawthorn team.
The kick short to the back pocket. So goals hard to come by. Monkhorst has the only goal of the game. Buckley has the ball punched away, and a terrific effort by Barker.
Yeah, it's good to see a teammate when you know that You have to leave your direct opponent, Barker's direct opponent's Krasiska, go to the contest where Buckley was and spoil from behind.
Oh, Buckley, he's kicking in and he's taking boundary throw-ins, clean possession. The Holland marks at centre wing. Rawlings, Treleaven, cornered by King, who's a terrier when he's chasing. Daniel Harford, round on his left. Inside the 50, flips off the hands. Godden at the back. Hand pass back to Woods. One out, Dixon. Collingwood got back there in numbers. Paul Williams. That was well worked to Burns. The only player for Collingwood who played state footy last week. Scott Burns played for South Australia. Here's Monkey playing the role of a wingman. He's already kicked the goal, but he lost it this time. Chance there for Dennis. Oh, they worked it well in defence. Burns to Godden. Krasiska. Gavin Brown back to Krasiska. Centre wing Crow. Scott Crow, who was dropped last week, but won a reprieve when Buckley pulled out. And he retains his spot this week. Krasiska, third time in the movement. To centre half forward. Rocker. Graham with him. Treleaven spirals the ball over the wing. Ball knocked on Hawthorn's way by Barker. Crawford, well done. Now it opens right up. Here's Aaron Lord. 55 out. 50 out. 45 out. The kick by Lord, disappointing after the build-up.
There's 10 at times, I think, Aaron Lloyd to want to finish himself. Sometimes you've got to set up too much, and I think he is a forward. He gets the ball forward half. I think he's got goals in his eyes.
In situations like that, you've got to think your way through. Very low percentage trying to kick goals from that, especially when you've ran sort of 20, 30, 40 metres. In doing so, you've got to use the best available teammate in the way through.
The last time these two teams played at Waverley was round 10 last year. The Hawks won by 53 points, even though they finished 15th last year. They kicked 7-6 to a point in the first quarter. Things are a bit different now without Dunstall. Oh, what a leap. Magnificent mark by Barker. John Barker. Crummel, just outside 50. He wants to go on quickly. Holland wants it long to the goal square. He centres. Dixon has competed well on the forward line. Williams. Burns to Williams. Krasiska. Goals very hard to come by. Half back to half forward. Rocker couldn't take the mark. Well done, Michael. Back to Big Sad. Down goes Watson. Collingwood fans want a free kick, but nothing doing.
It's good play by Dennis, really. He actually kept his eyes on the ball. So again, a couple of times, it's very easy for defenders to give away free kicks by being too conscious of the opposition forward. So that was good play by Dennis.
And there's Dennis again, Matthew Dennis, playing his second game. Came from Old Brighton.
I think it's fair to say already at this stage of the game, both sides are using the ball fairly well to this part of the ground. It's getting that next step, getting the ball forward into their part of the ground, using it effectively.
Harford caught by Krasiska. Umpire calls for the boundary throw-in. I think both players claiming a free kick their way.
Well, they both attacked the ball, and well, he was claimed obviously, but it was well over the line.
Harford wanted for a try tackle. Krasiska wanted holding the ball. The umpire said neither, throw it in. And supporters of both clubs having a good old-fashioned boo.
You can just see, Mick, even early in the game, that whether Holland can be a marking option for Hawthorn up forward. I guess Rocker down the other end for Collingwood, but those two respective key marking forwards, that's going to be pretty important what happens in the end of this game.
Schwabel. A worm burner. Harford, another tackle by King, who made up ground. Patterson to Burns. Run from defence, Williams. Williams with penetration. Oh, that is a very good mark. Richardson, in an awkward situation once he got there, held it well. Williams is there. And Watson on the edge of the goal square.
And already the runner, Paul Williams, coming across half-back. He's losing his direct opponent in Tony Woods, knowing that it's very difficult to play a defensive role across half-forward for your respective team. But it's Williams who's starting to get on top. He's had 6 clean possessions already, and his run has to be watched fairly closely throughout the course of this night.
Shane Watson from virtually point-blank range. Collingwood second.
Yes, it was interesting when Watson took that mark. I thought Treleaven actually was just behind him, and he was covering the ground level when just possibly should have taken a run and spoilt the Watson mark. He was just, well, let's have a look at this. Treleaven's in the background there. Maybe he couldn't quite get there, but I got a feeling he was covering ground level instead of trying to get there to affect the spoil. Good grab by Watson, though.
Collingwood with the first 2 goals of the game. Monkhorst and Watson. 4.5 minutes to quarter time. Monkey wins in the middle down to Crow. Quick kick to half forward. Great juggle marked by Rawlings. He's done well this season. He came to the Hawks as a forward, and they've been playing him in the back half. And he's done the job. Rawlings out towards centre wing. Punch forward. King goes to ground. That'll be a ball up.
Be interested to see whether they start rotating Hay and Holland, because they're the 2 marking players in their front half that they've got to get their hands on the ball. Hay's speed might certainly cause problems for Prestigiacomo, his direct opponent.
Brown with typical Gavin Brown desperation, but he's chucked it.
I was going to say, how did that get out the back? But the umpire saw how it got out the back and threw it out.
The free kick is taken by hand by Kapler, off to Salmon. Poor kick by Salmon, not good for the side. Accidentally sock it back to centre wing. Crawford and Krasiska. Now Gavin Krasiska is holding it.
It's always a difficult, that one. Gavin Krasiska was the player that made the play. The Hawthorn bloke sat off him.
So Barker won the free kick. Cromwell applying another tackle, and the umpire will ball it up. Could be a good night for tackling.
It's a fine line, isn't it, whether the player actually falls on the ball or whether just in the grapple for possession they actually go to ground. That's the decision the umpire has to make, whether it is in fact holding the ball.
Look at the group of players around this ball up. Prestigiacomo, Burns. Hurried kick to 11. And the ball just beats players out of bounds. Dixon's been lively. Pies by 10 points. Schauble backfists the ball, but doesn't clear the area. That'll be a ball up. Well, until last round, Collingwood had won just 1 in 8 games, and that's exactly the position for Hawthorn coming into tonight. Their only win in their last 8 matches was against North Melbourne 3 rounds ago. Front of the pack, Lord. Oh, poster.
It was interesting that boundary throw-in, or that ball-up, took place about 40 metres from the Hawthorn goal, and Salmon and Monkhorst were back in the forward goal square. So I think mostly Holland will try and do the ruck work against Schauble, and Hawthorn may feel that that's a better match-up for them and allow Salmon to try and get forward against Monkhorst.
It was just touched there by Dixon. He did particularly well to get it back to Barker. Forward pocket, Cromwell. Good mark. He has a man unmarked in the goal square, but the Collingwood defence got back to cover him. And maybe Brendan Cromwell will have to go for this goal himself.
Yeah, he isn't a bad kick for goal, Drew. I'd nearly take it upon himself to have a shot on goal here. He's a very accurate kick for goal.
Particularly when it appears like that really precise ball handling under pressure is a pretty tough ask tonight. So you really, every time you change possession, it's going to be hard.
Cromwell offline to the right, and a minor score.
Just the body use. You'd see you get that right hip into Wild just to give him the space to protect his hands to mark the ball.
Burns with plenty of distance, so I've seen it kick long both ways. Oh, Kosiska, a juggler.
It's interesting to see Nathan Buckley's taken a major percentage of the kickings. He's predominantly gone short. On that occasion, he found Scott Burns out at the 50-metre line. They got the ball out of the danger zone fairly effectively.
Richardson makes it a contest. Oh, Trelevin did particularly well to Lekas. Kick by Lekas to Holland. It's Hay. Jonathan Hay, who did particularly well last week in the state game in Adelaide. Tries a bit too much, just gets away with it. Dixon, right in front, 35 metres out.
Already, I think it's aware that Dixon might be a little bit better body player than Razzo, his direct opponent, in that part of the ground. As we see here by the slow-motion replay, pushed back initially into Razzo. His judgment was that little bit better on that occasion. Razzo decided to go back for the ball that was thought that was coming over the top. Dixon kept his eyes on it. Well judged, Mark.
At the moment, this is his sixth possession. He's the Hawthorn forward who's looked like getting the ball. In most other situations at the moment, the Collingwood defenders are in reasonable control.
Here we are, nearly to quarter time, just seconds left. Can Hawthorn get a goal before the siren? Dixon, oh, the Collingwood fans like it, he's missed it. Well, that could be expensive on a night which promises to be pretty close and perhaps very low scoring. And they've had 6 shots in the first quarter and haven't managed a goal.
Yeah, frustrating quarter for Hawthorn. I thought probably in general terms they were the better team. They created more opportunities, but it's all about conversion and efficiency, and Collingwood were the team that were efficient, able to get those couple of shots at goal, get the 2 goals and get the 7-point lead. So frustrating quarter for Hawthorn, but certainly a pretty good game in the making.
The other end of the ground, from Hawthorn's point of view, Hay and Dixon and also Holland, whoever adjusts to these slippery conditions, Drew.
Salmon beats Monkhorst in the middle. Comes in the direction of Harford. Whipped away by Patterson for Collingwood. Bounces up towards half forward. Watson taken out with a good hip and shoulder. McCabe getting support up from Rawlings. His kick smothered by King. Young King continues to surprise and impress. Salmon. He lost it to Monkhorst, who missed with the hand pass. Come on, Monkey. Out to King. Chance here on the forward line. Rocker! And well done, Clinton King again.
Was that smother, wasn't it, really, that kept the ball in the Collingwood attacking area. It was interesting, that centre bounce. So we mentioned the Crawford-Buckley matchup. Buckley is actually starting on the half-back line with Crawford. But have a look at this. It's just that quick kick forward, the 2 possession, the smother, and Rocket was able to protect the ball from the Graham spoil.
This will be a great start for the Pies at the beginning of the second quarter. 35 metres out, and he gets a goal.
Yeah, well, it's already interesting to see that the 3 goals at this stage of the game come from contested marks, which is so important when you get the ball into your forward 50. It's then the responsibility of marking forwards. On this occasion, it was Saverio Roca, just out-jumped, out-left, protected the ball with his big frame and big body in front of Graham. Terrifically well-judged mark, but as good forwards do, have to go back and put the goal through. Good team lifter for Saverio Roca and also the Collingwood team.
Ball back in the middle, and it's a 13-point lead to Collingwood. Hawthorn still looking for their first goal. This time Monkhorst beats Salmon, 1 each this quarter. Comes to Lekas, good kick. Woods puts it out in front of Crummell. That's a good mark in night footy. An umpire having a word with Godden, but there's no 50 for any attention that Crummell might have got after he took the mark. This distance will test him. Mightn't test Sab Rocker, but he'll have to kick from about 55. Still night at Waverley. Oh, it's a good kick. How about that? The distance didn't bother him at all.
Yeah, well, that's a good reply from the Hawthorn team.
And didn't they need it? Because really it was a frustrating first quarter. They couldn't get on the scoreboard, so that was almost the hardest shot they've had. But Crummell had to be a 50-metre kick, but he kept it on line. Good shepherding by Holland on the goal line to actually get it through. And again, It's a good long kick from there, good long finish. And again, as they set up for this next centre bounce, Buckley is being drawn back by Crawford. It's an interesting matchup that. Buckley's obviously going with Crawford. He's not going to actually just play off him, although he'll play 20 metres ahead. So it's a bit of cat and mouse going on down there.
Salmon wins in the middle, so now Hawthorn have it. Buckley might have to look after Crawford. It comes their way. Neither of them get it. Woods, blind hand pass. Burns, who had 11 possessions in the first quarter, to Williams. Williams gets it back from Crow. Short of half forward. 2 against 2. Watson. Didn't attempt the mark, just double back after it. Not a bad kick round the corner. There's King, front of the pack. Richardson. Across the goal face. Rawlings looking to keep it in. Kick by Jade Rawlings to open territory. Virtually had to give it up.
He had to be better than that.
He had to hold on to it longer, didn't he? Or at least dribble the ball out of bounds, just kicking it really where it was very easy to take possession when he could see Collingwood players were forward.
Wild. Crode gets back and takes the mark. The youngster who's impressed in his first season. Crode out towards the broadcast wing. Holland. Good nudge by Shawble and drew 2 players. Now Scott Crow. 2 against 1. Collingwood's way. Richardson. Thumps it long in the direction of Rocker. Chance for Sav. Watson is there, but rush through 4 are behind.
I just reckon the surges out of defence by Collingwood look a little bit more precise. The Hawthorn defence is pretty young tonight, and they're just not bringing the ball out with any surety. They are certainly under pressure, but they're reacting to the pressure and hurrying themselves.
Capra's kick had to be pinpoint. John Barker takes the mark. 8-point margin early in the second quarter. Collingwood in front. Kick by Barker. Aaron Lord tries to centre the ball. Treleaven, who's been good for the Hawks. It's good movement by Lord. The old 1-2. He bounces towards the 50. Long in the direction of Dixon, who took a bit of a stumble. Punch to the front. Hacked out of the air by Crummell.
What's he doing? What about that Crummell left foot in the mid-air out of bounds? That was a hopeful effort, I thought. Did you see that one, Macca?
Well, it was interesting that coming down the ground then, Crummell had made a terrific lead. He was 10 metres clear, and Aaron Lord once again hung onto the ball too long. He should have given it to Crummell because he's such a good kick.
As his goal proved, a magnificent kick. Hay inside the 50. Well, they nearly contest each other, the Hawthorn players. Comes down to Godden, hand pass back, a half volley, difficult for Williams. Well played for Williams.
And there's a difference, Lee, as you spoke about. Just getting the ball out, thinking your way through the tight situation, assessing his options, went short, breaking up play. Let Scotty Burns control the point from that part of the ground.
Now Prestigiacomo just behind the wing. Good crowd in attendance. Waverley on Saturday night. Hawthorn have certainly talked up Waverley's future as an AFL venue, and their supporters have turned up in their numbers. Be a good mix of the crowd tonight, Hawthorn and Collingwood fans. There's King at the bottom of the pack.
He's a little worker in at ground level, King, and he was very good for Collingwood 2 weeks ago when they beat Geelong. Got 15, 16 possessions as a crumbing half forward, and again, about tonight, 3-4 times we've seen him actually hold the ball in.
He's already had 5 tackles, Lee, which is so important in that part of the ground.
Treleaven, 5 tackles in a quarter and a bit. That is unbelievable, isn't it? That's about Tony Liberatore rate for a game.
But that's the work rate Tony Shaw loves in that part of the ground. It's so important as a ground level crumbing player, not only to win first hands at the ball at ground level, but more importantly to chase and dispossess the opposition when they're trying to use it on the way out.
The monkey and the fish. Interesting ruck contest. Burns out in front of Chris Siska. Clever kick. And this bloke can kick it from there. Sav Rocker didn't take any time. He passed it off rather than go for goal. Watson, but he was swamped. Gee, I reckon Sav might have been a better shot to have a go.
Yeah, he almost could have drilled it from there. I think it was within his kicking distance. He tried to set it up, but that was good defensive play by Hawthorn. Then the third man actually left his opponent to come and spoil.
Yeah, Lekis was the player. Terrific play.
Here's Severio anyway. Through for a behind. Yes, that hit the boundary umpire, not the behind post. 1-2 to Sav Rocker. Well, it's going to be tight. I'd stay with this all night because there mightn't be much in this at the final siren.
This doesn't look like a game that's going to get blown out by high scoring. Therefore, the scores are likely to be pretty close.
Oh, just inside the boundary line to McCabe. And he hugs the boundary as well, looking for Barker. And Brown. How many positions did you play Gavin Brown in when you were coaching Collingwood, Lee?
Just about everyone except the ruck, I think.
He plays the role of rover here, getting it from Monkhorst. Look at the space for Krasiska. Nobody within 30 metres. It's time to set up a long bomb. Richardson and Rocker and Crow. Richardson goes on and misses. Well, doesn't make the distance from about 30 metres. Graham. Up to Luke McCabe, one of the youngsters in Hawthorn's defence. Patterson, there was nobody there. That had to be pretty straight and deliberate towards the line, but he gets away with it.
Drew, a perfect example of the team balance rule, which just happened then. We had Mel Michael came off the ground for Tony Francis, and Hawthorn did an automatic change. They brought off Crode, and Kilmartin just followed Francis straight down into the Collingwood forward line. Totally team balance.
So that would have happened if Crode had had 15 possessions.
Ask Barney that.
All right. Hurried kick back to centre wing. Krasiska getting it away from Barker. Well, in the name of team balance, would you sacrifice a bloke even if he's going really
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends. You might send him down the other end, I guess, and let them worry about the team balance. But certainly if a Tony Francis comes on, well, you don't want a Crowd chasing him around. That matchup's wrong. And I guess the simple manoeuvre is just to put the smaller defender off interchange, which is what they did.
Burns had a bit of treatment. Well, he goes in and gets the footy. Great stuff, Scott Burns. Back to Krasiska. Wild. Patterson approaches half forward. Monkhorst under the ball. Here's King. He's got toe. I must admit, I reckon there are three things I might improve with him as a league footballer. I'd cut his hair, maybe put some weight on him and improve his disposal. Yeah. But I tell you, he keeps getting it.
It has been a hoodoo game down here for Collingwood. Haven't beaten Hawthorn here since 1989, so it's been a long time.
Salmon just got rid of Monkhorst and won the kick out of defence. Burns. Oh, there's Monkey. Well, he got beaten in ruck, but now he can say to Salmon, cop that.
Yeah, well, that kick down the middle, that quick kick down the middle by Salmon, it's always a dangerous one. It's a 50-50 ball, isn't it?
I also think it's pretty important now that Ken Judge has to react, and maybe the ideal player to go on to Scott Burns is Tony Woods, knowing that Paul Williams is going okay across half-back. Aaron Lordy's direct opponent's playing with too much latitude. Scotty Burns is controlling the central part of the ground. At this early stage of the second quarter, he's already had 16 telling possessions.
I reckon you try and get Lloyd down into the full forward line and see if Burns will go with him.
Monkhorst for his second goal. And he's kicked it.
Yeah, it's an important stage of the game. Scotty Burns has been terrific. He's been in and under, got the hard balls. He's giving the ball off fairly quickly and effectively to his teammates, going against the flow of the flight of the footy on that occasion. Reacted quickly, seeing Monkhorst free, who was unopposed due to Salmon kicking the ball out of that area. That's good conversion from Big Damien Monkhorst. He does fancy himself as a goal kicker, and it's good to see him kick 2 early goals in this stage of the game.
And now a 15-point break to the Pies. Collingwood have kicked 4 goals and Monkeys kicked 2 of them. Lee, did you ever use him as your trump card in goal kicking?
Oh, he's always... Well, I guess he's never going to be a key forward. 2 goals in a game. If he gets 3, well, he's had a terrific game.
Here's Brown. I think he'd be hungry for more, Monkey. And he went through a real low patch earlier in the season and just couldn't get near it, but he's come back. We've seen the last 2 games and he's going well. Midway through the second quarter. And Hawthorn struggling for goals. For 11. That's looking for the boundary line more than anything. And find it. He finds it with Krasiska's assistance.
Yeah, it's just at the moment, with Crawford back there on Buckley, I mean, that duel's going okay. Buckley's sort of not really an influence in the game, but Crawford isn't either. So all of a sudden, okay, you're sacrificing those 2 players in the midfield. And I guess Burns is the player who stepped up and getting heap of the ball, and therefore Hawthorn are probably benefiting from that kind of setup.
Here's Buckley and Crawford. Gee, that looks suspiciously like a throw from Bucks. He gets away with it. Wild to Williams, weaving through the middle, and a beautiful looking pass. Watson can't take the mark. Graham dangerously across in front of goal. Leckis does the shepherding.
Just grab it and kick it, isn't it? Grab it and kick.
Wild, he let the ball get behind him. Crawford, Holland. Ball stayed in. Holland was held when he didn't have it. He hand passed to himself and the ball curled around the boundary line and stayed in. Disciplined punch at the back by Prestigiacomo. Treleaven, Kilmartin a centering kick. Tough contest there. Burns another possession. Wild. Burns is on fire. Sorry about that, boys. Brown marks at half-back. And Paul Williams going particularly well, coming up for possession number 11.
They really look very impotent in the forward line, don't they, Hawthorn? There's just not much power there. There's not much danger at the moment. And Collingwood midfield starting to play right as well. So not good signs for the Hawks at the moment. Collingwood are looking pretty good.
Well, the crowd attracting the players' attention to a lead up the ground by Shawble. Comes to Crow. Back to Watson, centre wing. Rocker. Oh, palmed into the direction of Burns. The hand pass away. Tony Francis welcome back.
And there was Scott Burns involved again, releasing the ball. Aaron Lloyd's just not getting goal side of his direct opponent. When the ball gets to that part of the ground, you've got to work extremely hard to get goal side of your direct opponent, or at least feel where he is. As we see on screen here, was Scott Burns who worked harder to the fall of the ball, got away from his direct opponent in Lloyd. Certainly a change has got to be taken place from the Hawthorn perspective. Here's one player who's certainly controlling this game.
Tony Francis, I thought he might have been lost to the Collingwood seniors.
And that change has been made, Drew. Crawford has come up onto Burns as this centre bounce. I think all of a sudden it's okay to cover Buckley, but as it was turning out here, Burns was killing him anyway.
21 points deficit, too much. Williams and Francis playing just his 6th game of the year, kicks his 5th goal for the season, and it's the 99th for his career.
I also think Tony Woods is not a natural forward either.
Yeah.
He prefers to run straight at the footy or just run an endurance type game, whereas Williams has got that sort of dancing feet that he can turn players inside out, and he's a player that's sort of giving Collingwood a team a lot of run out of that part of the ground.
Monkhorst palming down. Great duel in the ruck. Monkhorst winning it so far with 2 goals. Kick by King. Ball punched away from Crow. And Salmon sees it out.
It's interesting to see Tony Shaw's already reacted, knowing that Crawford's gone to Burns. Burns has come out of the midfield for probably a spell, knowing that he's got so much of the ball. Straight away he's gone to the forward pocket where it's nice and deep, dragging Crawford out of the game. Irrespective where Crawford is, he's got no influence on the game whatsoever because of his positioning.
Well, it is the Hawks' home ground, but 2-5 this year at Waverley. Still have only won 3, so 2 of them have been here.
I guess the thing with that, Burns has been so good in the midfield. It's a big call, in fact, to take Burns out of the midfield because he's been terrific there, and Collingwood have been benefiting in the fact that he's in there, and Crawford really hasn't been an influence. He and Buckley have basically been out of the play, generally speaking.
Maybe it's time for Buckley just to go to centre and play a conventional role, get him involved, and let them react again.
Crawford's had 7 possessions, Buckley 6. Inside the 50. Shawble gets it towards the boundary line. Well done, Andrew Shawble. That was fantastic. Here's Buckley. Centering to Monkhorst.
Well, be spot on. But it was good kick by Buckley.
The Monkeys had 3 marks and 7 possessions and 2 goals. Rocker!
Yeah, and really Williams on the back line. Holland's just not getting the ball, and I think we saw why. If he doesn't mark the ball, Holland, he's just too slow at ground level on the recovery, and Shawble's doing all right on him, and really it was just that situation. The ball came in long and strong, and Rocker was just a bit too strong to hold his position against Graham. This game is slipping very much out of Hawthorn's grasp very quickly.
Look from behind, and Rocker gets his second.
Well, just at the moment, to win the game, Hawthorn have to think, well, how can we look to generate a score? Because just at the moment, it's not happening. You look around the field, maybe Jonathan Hay, who is actually playing in the forward line, might be better to go and consolidate defence, put Rawlings forward potentially. But just at the moment, they've got to start getting a bit more of the ball around the midfield if they've got any chance at all.
Well, this is looking a bit ominous at the moment. 6 goals to 1 and a tidy break in night football to the Pies. Good tackle by Tallis, who's just come off the interchange.
Drew, I'm just wondering who Peter McKenna's following tonight, because he adopted Hawthorn as his side for the last 15 years. I wonder if he's jumped back on the Collingwood wagon.
Well, Pete, you have loved the Hawks and the way they've played and won flags over recent years, but surely you're black and white tonight, aren't you?
The Magpies, they're looking pretty good and they're playing very, very good football. Because they've got a chance for the finals, Drew, and they've got the better incentive, I think.
Buckley's kick is wide, and here's Sav Rocker. He's about 90 metres from goal. In short, he does kick well, whether he thumps a long one or goes the half distance. Jason Wild. Burns, give it to Burns. There's Monkhorst. Maybe Salmon's not too worried about this possession. The next one might be critical. Kick by Monkhorst into a pack. Oh, Richardson! Whistle went. It's a free kick before the ball arrived.
Scott Crow's free kick.
While we're waiting for the kick, Barney, they've
Got no idea what that one's for, Mick.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fly. We just saw the replay of that free kick. I think Richardson marked it anyway, but couldn't see where the free kick came from.
Yeah, didn't look to be in the back.
Just while they're doing that, Hawthorn have brought on Trent Crowe, and they've sent him right down to the full forward goal square. So hopefully he can take a couple of grabs and get them back into the game.
Scott Crowe after the free kick. 49 metres from goal. Not bad, but across the face. Still in the field of play. Treleaven bursts out of defence for the Hawks. Comes to Dennis. There's Buckley.
Yeah, they held on to the ball that time, the Hawthorn team, but they had players on to distribute it early. Just at the moment, just not working for Hawthorn at all.
And Buckley working just a bit more forward of centre. Once again, another turnover. Kicked out of defence, out of bounds on the full. Gavin Francisco to take the free. Collingwood have managed just 6 wins for the season. Rocker up high, couldn't take the mark. Phil Martin gets the ball down, sock it away, out of bounds again.
Yeah, no matter what they try, it's certainly not going the Hawthorns' way at this stage. This is where they've really got to remain in concentration mode, merely because the game could really slip away.
A fair bit of panic happening out there in the brown and gold jumpers tonight, I think, as this game's developed.
And not manning up there. Wild had plenty of space. Gives it back to Francisco. Really working into the game. Rocker again.
Yeah, certainly well and truly under the flight of the footy was Mark Graham on that occasion. Superior judgment by the big fella in Severio Rocker, as we see here by the replay about to come on screen. Graham too far underneath the flight of the ball, tried valiantly to try to knock the ball over the goal line with the left fist, but Rocker's judgment was far superior.
It was interesting. We just saw a shot then of Rawlings and Graham against Rocker, and the lack of bulk. Big, strong man, Severio Rocker, both Graham and Rawlings, two of the key defenders for Hawthorn, much more lightly built. And those marking duels, they do look a little bit undermanned.
So Severio for his third goal this quarter.
Yeah, very important stage of the game now for the Hawthorn team. It was only in round one. It was the Hawthorn, the Collingwood team. They kicked 4 unanswered goals on 3 separate occasions. And already in this second quarter, it's now them that have kicked 4 consecutive goals. Last 2, of course, being to Severio Rocker. Very important stage of the game for the Hawthorn team. They have to really take it upon themselves to stabilise this situation, go to the half-time break, regroup and reassess.
Severio Rocker's kicked 3 goals too. And the Pies are marching away.
And Tony Shaw again has put Scott Crow deep forward to drag Crawford back. That's where Crawford and Tallis it is, I think, isn't it? We'll have to actually learn to rotate so that they keep Crawford up on the ball.
Kick by Lekas. Chance for Crode. Dixon's hand pass to Holland. He misses with his hand pass. Misses with another one.
And that's where it's so important for Nick Holland, learning, knowing that the tackler's about to come. He's got to get his hands in the air, get them free, so there might be an overlapping player, his teammate running forward. On that occasion, he went through the traffic, went through the tacklers with his hands low, the ball low. Therefore, he couldn't release the ball in an effective manner.
He's not having a good night, Nick Holland. 3 possessions, taken just 1 mark. Can't grab it this time. Harford dispossessed. The whistle's gone. Hawthorn's free kick just as the Pies were dashing out of defence.
Yeah, Williams was certainly off and away, Drew.
So Daniel Harford will take the free kick.
Well, they're not turning many shots now, Hawthorn. He really has to drill this Harford if Hawthorn would have any chance of winning this game. Just at the moment, they just can't get shots at goal, let alone be goals or behinds. The Collingwood defence has been in control.
Well, he's about 15 metres closer than Crummell was. And the kick is there, but offline. Behind. He needed that. Just over 3 minutes remaining to half-time. Collingwood led by just 7 at quarter-time. And now they've skipped out to a big break. 2 rounds ago, when Collingwood played up in Brisbane, Buckley only kicked it in once. He's gone back to that role this week. To King.
That's his special, isn't it? That kick almost to the 50-metre mark, the 35-metre pass. He's very good at that.
Ooh, that wasn't so good. Patterson. Buckley has to help out again to Patterson. To King. Give it to Buckley again. Well, Krasiska's not a bad option, because Gavin Krasiska's had 16 possessions. He's had a great second quarter. Robran on the ground for the Hawks. Not doing a lot to get rid of it. Pumped forward by the Pies. Clever by Williams. Patterson to King. Overlapping Clinton King. Great pass. Watson.
Yes, terrific effort by King. He was involved in 2 or 3 passages of play, but more importantly, got forward of the ball to receive the handball. And once he got time to use the ball effectively, he did balance and seen Watson come at him. Terrific play, good use of the ball.
So Shane Watson to give Collingwood a bigger lead. Just inside 50. Away to the right.
Lee, when the Hawthorn are facing this sort of dilemma at half-time, what sort of advice can Ken Judge give them to actually try and get some system back into their game to allow their forwards to move into space and maybe get a score on the board? What can they do?
Not a lot you can do in 20 minutes, I don't think, Fly, but I think they're just trying to they've got to try and get Crawford in the midfield now, see if he can get some ball. The same with Harford. I mean, they're so far behind on the scoreboard already that somehow or other they have to generate a bit of class around the midfield. Just at the moment, their defence is shaky. There's not enough run through the midfield, and their forward line has basically become non-existent. Salmon has gone deep at the moment, and Nick Holland's up on the ball, or Jonathan Robran. So, you know, all at the moment, just everything is going wrong.
Crawford tries one off the ground. Crow. Monkhorst to Patterson. Just missed.
I've been inclined to wonder whether to put Nick Holland in the ruck, actually, to see if he can get a bit of the ball around there, because at centre-half forward at the moment he's been well, useless, I guess is the word. So, you know, you might as well see if you can get him into the game around in the ruck or something.
Probably in his defence, Lee. I think it's only been 18 times to 8 in the forward 50 this time of the game.
Yeah.
Collingwood have certainly controlled it.
McCabe from the back pocket. All Hawthorn here, but in short kicks. They'll take 40 possessions to get it from one end of the ground to the other at this rate. Crawford.
Just got to try to change the pattern of play here. Break up play, bring the ball back into the centre corridor if they can. They've just got to take some risks now.
Buckley couldn't take the mark. Robin slipped it across to Dixon. Now Tallis. Williams, who also had a low spot earlier in the season, going great guns. Missed it this time. Harford gets it back to Lord. Lord busts a tackle. Burns gets him. Bionce is the umpire. Francisco back to Burns. Scott Burns playing the game of his life here. 19 possessions. Wild. Short pass. Half volley. Well picked up by Crow. Back to Wild. Oh, here's Monkey for his third lead. Gives it up to Watson, who goals.
Yeah, and every player should run straight to Paul Williams. He was terrific. 2 against 1 across here in the forward pocket for Hawthorn. He really chased and tackled, laid the tackle on Harford, who tried to handball over his head to Lord. Lord initially missed the target of Harford. What about the penetrating kick from Rocker? Found Wild. Wild looked for Crow. Didn't find him, but had the presence of mind to run on. Terrific release of hands by Monkhorst to give Watson an opportunity, and Watson certainly loves that situation.
Well, Paul Williams, just a terrific player when he's on his game. 13 possessions tonight, and he has been blistering. He's added heat to a cold night. Richardson in the ruck. Comes to Treleaven of Hawthorn. Trouble for you. Buckley applying the tackle, wanting a free kick and telling the umpire in no uncertain terms. He does dominate, Bucks, and he umpires it as well.
Yes, again, it was the Hawthorn use of the ball, setting up a hand pass into a player stationary and under pressure.
Well, what a quarter that was for Collingwood. They went in quarter time, 7 points in front, and now they've scooted away from the Hawks in the second term, kicking 6 goals to 1 in that quarter after 2 goals to 1 in the first. And 8-5 to 1-7 is a pretty tidy break in these conditions.
Yeah, they were unlucky a bit in the first quarter, Hawthorn. They just converted badly, 6 points straight to 2 goals won. But certainly in that quarter, Collingwood just dominated the whole game. Their midfield, Burns, was fantastic. Williams, their whole defensive area was great. And Rockers' 3 goals have really set up a big lead.
And it'll leave Hawthorn in a very dodgy position for the wooden spoon after Carlton's win in Perth last night. Salmon back on the ball and beats Monkhorst. Gets it down to Tallis. Kicked by Tallis towards the 50. Holland just hasn't got near it tonight. Comes to Shawble. Williams. He can run it or kick it from a standing start. Richardson lost sight of it. And the fly in his Hawthorn socks. Russell Morris.
Mate, I've got Johnny Hassel, the Collingwood trainer, next to me here. He wants me to change. He wants me to put the Collingwood ones, but I'll never do it. But when the Hawthorn team went off at half-time, they copped an almighty spray, not from Ken Judge initially, but from the Hawthorn supporters. They were leaning over the fence, pointing the finger, saying, have a go. That's all they wanted. And then Ken Judge pointed the finger at them inside the rooms and had them locked up for about 10 or 15 minutes and really gave it to them. So hopefully we'll see a change of attitude from Hawthorn's point of view in this third term.
Here's Tony Francis, who kicked the goal in the second quarter. And that's a good kick to the goal square. Watson, and over the top, Severio. Well, how can you stop this man?
Well, can I hazard a guess? Not with Rawlings or Hay or Dennis. They're just too small, Mick.
Yeah, they certainly are lead. Like, here's a man, Mount Severo Rocker, but terrific play by Tony Francis. Best part, he usually goes to his left side in those situations, but it's great to see Tony go to his dominant side, give the ball a little bit of elevation and let Severio do the rest, as Rocker does when he does get a run and jump at the ball. He is very hard to beat.
Rocker kicked 3 in the second quarter, and that's 4 for the night.
Just the start the Hawthorn team didn't want.
Yeah, well, it started the way they finished the quarter, the second quarter, the first half, Collingwood. They're just looking better all over the field. They're just sharper tonight. They're getting to the ball first. Again, McCabe just ends up a mile from Francis, doesn't he? Just completely got pushed off the line of the ball. And Rocker has a picnic against small defenders.
Well, Collingwood romping away in a game that we thought would be close and would go right to the wire. Monkhorst beats Salmon in the middle. And the return to form of Monkey and Ruck has certainly been part of the revival of the Pies. Tallis across the ground. Monkhorst with a bit of physicality as well. Patterson did well to shepherd the ball for Krasiska. Krasiska bowled over. The free kick advantage to Buckley. Long kick to Rocker again. Jonathan Hay, who played state football last week, completely nonplussed.
Yes, the body strength is just awesome. It's the boy on the man's job. I think what I know everyone has their opinions on Rocker, Mick, but I always reckon that he will always kill the small defenders, as we see Shane Crawford in a bit of trouble. The big, strong defenders is always a better matchup with Rocker. I think if you've got to go for speed or size, go with size.
Sav kicked 11 the day Collingwood beat Fremantle at Victoria Park. That's now 5.
I also think if you're going to play a smaller player on him, very rarely should you let Severio Rocker get behind you, because he reads the flight so well in that body-on-body situation. And as we look at and see Shane Crawford, this is exactly what happened to him. Later tackle to Chris, just got an elbow back to the nose area, the eye region. That's the reason why he's feeling a little bit of discomfort at this stage.
Might be accidental, but it still hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah, in actual fact, he's coming off the ground, so he must be a little bit dozed.
You'll be seeing stars after that.
Let's hope he gets back on the ground fairly quickly. He's so important to add some experience and leadership while they haven't got much out there.
So Dixon back onto the forward line. He was good in the first quarter. Patterson's kick to the 50. Oh, Hay. He has got the shakes at the moment, John Hay. Francis did well. Crow off the left. Couldn't pull it round far enough. Out of bounds on the full.
Drew, just a quick update on Shane Crawford. Just got poked in the eye. But I'll just give you an update also on the interchange. Darren Kapler for Hawthorn, Barker, Tony Woods, and you just saw Dixon come on. Now Collingwood, Josh Marnie, Alex McDonald yet to have a run. Chad Liddell yet to have a run. And Malcolm Michael.
He's in confidence, an amazing thing. No one can see it, no one knows where it comes from, but you know you play well with it, and Rocker's got it tonight.
And Crow centres it further to Watson, and they're carving up Hawthorn's defence.
Yeah, their ball usage has been far better than Hawthorn's when they are going forward. They've used the ball fairly effectively. Here's another interest. Ooh.
That was from earlier on, before the incident with Krasiska. Shane Watson lines up from 45 metres. Another nail in Hawthorn's coffin.
Yeah, well, that's 8 unanswered goals for the Collingwood team. 1 goal to 11. The scoreboard says it all. They are certainly controlling the ball all over the field. They are using the ball very effectively. Here's Crow getting back from the mark very quickly, seeing Watson leading into that space directly in front of the goal. That's where good forwards lead to, directly up from the goal. Gives them a greater chance to convert. Shane Watson's done that on that particular occasion. That's his second.
Shane Crawford having trouble seeing. We're struggling a bit with the watery eyes at the moment. Hawthorn have kicked just 1 goal for the night. And Collingwood, who started slight underdogs in this game, perhaps, well, surprisingly, against the bottom of the ladder team. And Holland takes just his second mark for the night. Rawlings to a big pack. Williams has been a star. Slippery and gets the ball to the boundary line for throwing.
It's interesting, this Peter McKenna knows up in the stand. The way Severio Rock has played pretty much a halfway point. Wayne Carey played here a couple of rounds ago against St Kilda, that halfway between centre-half forward and full forward. He hasn't handled Waverley that well, Rocker, but maybe that just shortens the ground a little bit with that kind of positioning. Have you got a comment on that, Macca?
Yeah, a funny thing, great minds think alike, Lee. I was just thinking about that very point. Playing Watson and these guys back in the square and Sav out, it's giving him that little bit more freedom to run from the side and fly for his marks and get a run and a jump. That's made an enormous difference to his confidence and ability to take that high mark.
And Pete also, if he gets it at the 50, he's not too far out to score, as he's proved tonight. Mark taken by Harford. Back to Rawlings. And he missed Holland. Shawbull keeps it in. Oh, well done, Razzo. That was terrific. Rawlings for 11. Feeds it wide to Harford. Good chase by Francis. Well done, Tony Francis. Harford's kick to a contest. Crow couldn't mark. Here's the man, Gavin Brown. Wild.
Salmon's actually gone in the forward line and Monkhurst has gone with him, but I think that might leave Nathan Buckley as almost like you're running ruckman round the midfield, which is going to be even more dangerous from Hawthorn, one would suspect.
Rocker couldn't take the mark this time. Robin gets back after it. Chased down by Brown. Back to Lord. Across the ground he goes. To Justin Crawford. Round the boundary line to Crummell. Godden giving chase. Well, Godden, he's a hard-at-it type. Into Monkhorst. Oh, gee, Monkey will be pleased with his game on Salmon. That's 10 disposals. He's kicked a couple of goals. Kicked by Richardson. Rocker, 55 metres from goal. Applying the tackle. It comes to Wild. Oh, Patterson took his eyes off it. Raiden Tallis for the Hawks. To Hay. Across the half-back line. Dixon finds himself back in the back half. You wonder just who will ever kick a goal for the Hawks if they get it forward of centre. Kilmartin. Kick and
it's
hope.
hard work as if they really just, you're right, Drew, they just don't look like scoring at the moment. The Collingwood defence is in control, and even when they're getting some rebound out of defence, Hawthorn, they've just got no poise with their ball movement into the forward part of the ground.
Well, the Hawks are making Collingwood look like a top 4 side. Brown, perfect disposal. And Monkhorst is looking like a Brownlow medalist. Short by Crow to Watson. The spoil comes, and now the Hawks have to do it all over again. For 11 to Justin Crawford. Shane Crawford off the ground for the Hawks at the moment. Seeing double. No, he's just back on the ground. Brown, free kick. Oh,
He's played the scoop, yeah. It looked like it might have been a high tackle, didn't it? But the umpire chose to call play on, and then when Brown scooped the ball up, then the umpire intervened with it with a throw interpretation. Let's have a look. It's a fine line between a tap on and a scoop, isn't it?
Free played by umpire Norden. That's Lekas's kick. Here's Crawford.
Yeah, Drew, he replaced Trent Crow, who came off with a bit of a leg injury. I'm not too sure whether it was a corky or even an ankle, but I'll keep you up to date with that one.
Anyway, I know you haven't got anything Collingwood on, but they did look like Collingwood gloves you were wearing, Fly. They were black anyway.
Mate, the Hawthorn socks have got on. They might as well be stockings the way they're bloody playing.
Can't give them up.
No, I won't do that.
Well, Monkhorst, as he hit some form. Back to King. Brown, Patterson. Oh, well done, Watson. This could be another goal. Crow to Williams. Williams from the back line. Feeds off to Tony Francis. He gets his... Oh, he missed it. An absolute sitting shot from right in front.
Yeah, the ball handling is certainly there for Collingwood. It's not there for Hawthorn. You've seen Shane Watson compete at ground level against 3 Hawthorn players. He had the surety to pick the ball up first hands, didn't fumble, got the ball out to the running Williams. Terrific setup. Unfortunately, Tony Francis couldn't convert, but that's the difference between the two sides. Hawthorn, under unpressured situations, are turning the ball over. Collingwood are using the ball far more effectively.
Richardson, Rocker doing the roving back near centre wing. And what about that for vision? Out to Krasiska. With time and space, Krasiska long, just short of the goal square. It's on the deck for the Rovers. Treleaven working overtime. He's had 18 disposals. Shane Crawford pokes it out short, and his brother fumbles it.
And the umpire had already blown the whistle, and mark will be paid.
Oh, no.
Once you've blown the whistle, you can't really change your mind, I guess.
Hawthorn's last goal was their only goal, 3 minutes into the second quarter. We're now midway through the third. Crummell back to Treleaven. Holland. Here's Williams. He's doing stuff at both ends. Go, Paul Williams! He's even kicking it to himself. Graham's got it this way, and Williams does the tackling. And he caused the turnover. Godden back to Buckley. Buckley picks out Gavin Brown. Yeah, it was great by Williams. Patterson, just as well he had a helmet, he went for the head tumble. Richardson. Dennis playing his second game off the ground. Tony Wood's back on. Here's Williams again, playing a whale of a game. Rocker. Monkhorst is the full forward. Sav goes in short to King. Oh, well done. Here's Paul Williams. He could nearly kick this on the run. Just spoiled was Monkhorst and threw for a behind.
I always love Big Monkey when he spoils a mark. He shakes his head and says, I've never dropped one of them before. How did I drop that one?
Confidence. How do you turn on the switch for confidence? Collingwood, we've seen them a few times this year, and they just haven't been in the race. They must have got a big lift out of that win over Geelong at the MCG a fortnight ago. It wasn't a high-standard game, but they got the points.
No, I thought that was I went on record as saying I thought it was one of the worst winning performances I've seen. I thought Collingwood weren't that good and Geelong were even worse. And I guess, though, in all honesty, Collingwood have maybe made the opposition like that, because certainly tonight they've made Hawthorn look poor.
Scott Crow, another bird in amongst all these Magpies and Hawks.
It's a dispirited Hawthorn team now, Mick. You look around it, I mean, the game is just almost unsalvageable, but you look around the ground, there's just a bad body language, a bad look of dispirited feeling.
Well, all the roaring is for some clown who's come onto the ground, so we won't worry about that. He won't see the rest of the game. Scott Crow lining up for goal. And he threads the needle.
And I guess as a former Hawthorn player, Scott Crow, he'll be enjoying this demolition more than most. But the floodgates have opened now. I mean, this is the thing I find about the Collingwood team. I mean, so far they've kicked 12 goals tonight halfway through the third quarter. They really can be a very good, high-scoring team. On certain occasions. It's been a fair few weeks, but they're that tonight.
Well, Monkey is actually pointing at Paul Salmon, almost so he's got him in his sights. I've got you. And Monkey has got on top of the man who's won Hawthorn's best and fairest in his 2 seasons at the club. Out of the air, Krasiska. Well judged on the bounce.
Good control.
Yeah, well, Krasiska's been exceptional tonight. He's had 21 possessions. Now, Graham's gone up to him at the start of this third quarter, more or less playing a negating role on that part of the ground. Just goes to show what a bit of football awareness football now does, and the ability to find the football. That's what Gavin Krasiska's done tonight. Stayed at home in the wing position, and a lot of the attacks have gone through him.
Fired out by King, along the ground by Patterson.
Statistically, Hawthorn have been having a lot of the ball in this last month or two. They had a game against North Melbourne where they won by a few points, but had, so I think it was 70 or 80 more possessions. But tonight, Collingwood have had the 80 more possessions and have actually converted on the scoreboard as well.
Krasiska again towards the boundary line. This time Crawford sharks it. Kapler missed it. Might have been a Collingwood free. It goes Hawthorn's way. Graham released from full back. Kicks poorly towards full forward. Holland. Very ordinary night for Nick Holland. Back he goes to Rawlings. And he misses. So still Hawthorn have kicked just one goal.
Yeah, sometimes you have losses. Losses are part of any sport, but this is pretty demoralising tonight. Hawthorn are going to have to do a lot of work just to finish this game, just with a little bit of spirit still intact.
King roves it off the hands. Francis battles with McCabe. King again, good hands. Oh, great hand pass to Buckley. Kick by Buckley. Rocker out at half forward. Off it comes to Leckis. And they have to just do it all again, Hawthorn. For 11. He's up to 20 possessions now. Dixon. Nick Holland. Third mark for the night. He's had just one kick so far. Not a bad one to the goal square. Salmon. Shawble did well. And Williams' hand pass is blocked. Through for a behind.
Drew, just a quick one. Nathan Buckley, I think, just did a hamstring on the wing here. He's just coming off.
Well, that was why he
Not good news for Buckley. He just pulled up very quickly. Mel Michael replaces him, so bad news for Collingwood.
Yes, well, of course, he missed 1 week with that hamstring injury. He missed the Geelong game, and then, of course, there was the State of Origin bye. But yes, so just not enough time to recover by the look of it.
Just on that situation too, Lee, that was terrific communication by Schwabel, knowing his direct opponent, Salmon, had a few inches on him. He called Krasiska back to give him that 2-on-1 situation. Great team play there from the Collingwood defence.
Scott Burns. He'll be vying for best tonight with Williams and a lot of others. Up to the 50, Rawlings, who should have kicked that goal with his previous kick. Hay. For 11, shining pretty brightly in amongst a very dismal Hawthorn side. Leckis. Kick by Leckis. Oh, straight to the opposition. And guess who?
He's got a strange habit, Scott Burns. When he knows the ball's on the way, he almost wipes his hands on his jumper and then puts them up in the air to mark the ball. He does it quite a lot. Is that just to get a bit of resin off his hands or just to make sure the sweat's cleared? But you watch it, he does that if he's got time when he's basically standing under the ball.
Gavin Brown.
I think it's fair to say too, Drew, he feels at home. Brownie back on the wing, having his 16th possession. Certainly is a quality player on that part of the ground.
He comes in short to Krasiska. And he's just leather poisoning tonight, Gavin Krasiska. He's 22 possessions. Razzo, high ball. Richardson. Crawford front of the pack. Blind hand pass. Works out all right. Robran, Harford. Graham. There's no mark. Intercept by Woods. Dragged off his hand pass. Well done, Burns, but he lost it to Crawford. Now Dixon from the centre circle. Open forward line. Nobody's standing down there. They've got Sicker waiting for it. Crummel and the ball out of play.
And there's an example, and here's the Nathan Buckley. He knew as soon as he kicked it.
A kicking hamstring, wasn't it, by that one?
Yep, for sure. You can tell by the grimace on his face, he'd certainly done something. There it goes.
Yeah.
Don't look good for Collingwood supporters, nor so for the champ, Nathan Buckley.
There's Burns again. Come on, Dr. Matthews, what's a hammy worth? Could be worth three or four weeks.
Well, I've got to say that a hamstring done when you're kicking the ball like that, I've got a feeling is a bit worse than those just overstretching ones.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Lee. The kicking hamstring's always a little bit longer, maybe the 3 to 4 weeks for sure.
Oh, Monkey is chasing his third goal for the night. He's got a chance. He laid it like an egg, Rawlings. Monkey got rid of it.
Something wrong with his head.
Dragged to the ground. Play on, said the umpire, and Monkey through the mouth guard and the gap that's there is saying, what about the free kick? Or words to that effect.
Gladstone Small. Here's his Gregory Peck being tackled.
Well, let's start barracking for Monkey to get a hat-trick. It's coming his way again from Watson. Oh, he's up.
Oh, the big jump.
He's up half an hour too early.
He did that on exuberance, I think.
Bit of adrenaline flowing just at the moment, I think.
Harford. Angelo Lekis. Started the season pretty well.
And there's the unpressured situation again. Just kick and hope. No penetration in their play. No direct approach at goal.
Oh. And look at King, 15 metres in the clear. He goes short. That's good.
Good play. It was good play. There was a temptation to have a shot at goal. You were just going to get just inside 50, but he's actually been pretty impressive. But you wonder how he hasn't got a game early in the year, Clinton King. This is only his second game. He's been playing reserves all year, but gee, he's actually given the Collingwood team a fair bit of life up forward as Monkhurst leaves the ground to be interchanged as Crow has this shot at goal.
So Crow kicking from about 43 metres. Oh, that's like a laser. Second goal this quarter to Scott Crow. And the Collingwood faithful who've stuck around through the depths of June are being repaid.
Yeah, good technique this by Scott Crow. Head over the ball, beautifully balanced in his approach to kicking to goal. He is a very good kick for goal to Scott Crow. Very balanced, as I said. Most importantly for the Collingwood team, 11 out of their 13 goals have been from marks in their forward 50. Obviously very efficient on their way through.
70-point lead. You don't win too many night games by 70 or 100.
No, you don't. Well, their scoring has been good, up to 13 goals as we get towards the end of the third quarter, but really the margin all comes from the opposition, really, 15 points, and it's a night game and the ball's a little bit moist, but it's certainly not wet conditions, and Hawthorn just cannot got the scoreboard ticking over at all.
Robran to Treleaven. Just as well Treleaven turned up. Justin Crawford.
You reckon there might be a bit of a Bronx cheer when the next goal's kicked for Hawthorn?
I think there will be, Lee.
First and only goal, 3 minutes into the second quarter, and that came from Brendan Crummell, who at the time was outside 50. And he is missed. Justin Crawford offline. They might get just one goal for the whole night.
And much at the moment, you'd reckon there'd have to be a shot from the goal square straight in front, I would have thought, because at the moment, Hawthorn really got the shakes when they're anywhere near having a shot at goal. They've been that way most of the night.
Godden.
It's amazing, at the moment, Collingwood have got well clear. You think back to that first quarter when Hawthorn kicked the 6 straight behind. Big difference if you're 3 goals 3 as opposed to 6 straight behinds, and the game could well have gone a different way, but they didn't. They kicked inaccurately, and Collingwood then started to get their confidence in the second quarter.
Barker. And here's Treleaven. Whistle's gone. It's got to come back.
Yeah, shepherding. One part of the game I think Tony Shaw would be particularly happy with. I know Collingwood do spend a lot of time on their kick-ins. They've used the ball fairly effectively in getting the ball out of that danger zone, out of that forward part of the ground for Hawthorn to get the ball back and put scoreboard pressure on the Pies.
The ball's got to come back again to Richardson in midfield. I'm not sure why. He might have missed going over the mark by a millimetre. I'm not sure what difference to the game all that made.
Yes, sometimes you think it's just being a little technical.
Patterson. Looks like Floyd Patterson sparring.
If he tilts his head, that helmet might fall over the eyes, I reckon. It looks a bit loose.
Richardson. His dad Wayne would be proud. Long to full forward. Oh, at the back. Thank you, says Watson.
Yeah, that's just low percentage play by the Hawthorn defenders. A situation like that, when you take it upon yourself to take the mark, you must take them knowing that your direct opponent's going to stay down at ground level. On that occasion, it was the Hawthorn defender, went up, took it upon himself to mark the footy. Hey, they all committed themselves. Rawlings, Watson took the easy option, sat back, waited for the ground level ball, kicked the easiest of goals. The ball must be cleared by a defensive, disciplined punch. Live to fight another day.
In this quarter, Hawthorn have managed just 3 behinds. 6 goals, 2 for Collingwood. Dixon pulled off his kick. Just over a minute remaining to three-quarter time. Lord to Hay. Jonathan Hay. A couple of bounces, then long, straight to the opposition. And Paul Williams, one of Collingwood's best. Hawthorn's lowest against Collingwood, 1952. 2 goals, 8. So they're giving it a shake. It will be the loudest cheer of the night when they get their next goal. They're inside the 50 here. Oh, roving the pack. Chance for Crawford.
That was a genuine cheer of enthusiasm. I thought it might have been a bit of the Bronx cheer, but I think the Hawthorn fans are just pretty happy to get a goal on the board just to give them something to cheer about. And it happened to be down the end where the Hawthorn cheer squad is situated, and really the ball just fell in it. Good crumbing position though by Crawford, and straight into the lap of the Hawthorn cheer squad. Yeah, pretty happy to have something to yell about.
And they certainly had to stem the tide. They'd kicked 11 unanswered goals. A long time, I think, in modern-day football until that's been looked upon. Certainly a record, I dare say, in the last 5 or 6 years, I dare say, Lee.
Yeah, no, it's been a barren period, hasn't it?
Well, they've just put that record to sleep. At least it won't be the lowest ever against Collingwood.
It's amazing the energy levels, isn't it? I mean, just the energy levels in the Collingwood side as the game has progressed, as they've started to get a big margin on the scoreboard. They've just ran harder and harder, and the Hawthorn team tends to have become a bit more dispirited as the game's progressed. You see Buckley there. He knows that he's got a problem that's probably going to cost him 2 or 3 games, and Gavin Kosciuszko did a change as well just at the end of the quarter.
Yeah. Well, Gavin Brown and Jason Wilde, they're celebrating a bit. Sav Rocker got 2 in that term. He's kicked 5 to three-quarter time. And what a scoreline for Collingwood, who up until a couple of weeks ago, well, they couldn't beat a drum. Out in the outer is Peter McKenna. What would you do, Pete?
Well, it's fantastic, Drew, and the Collingwood supporters, over the years, they've copped many, many hidings from the Hawthorn Football Club, and they're getting their own back tonight. But I've never seen a Hawthorn side so lacklustre and so, well, I reckon there's a little bit of a lack of commitment tonight. They haven't gone for the hard ball. Mind you, that's taken a little bit away from the mighty Magpies.
On you, Pete. Barracking to the end. Ball back in the centre circle, and you can see how hard Collingwood are going at the ball, just throwing themselves at it to make sure it's not spilling out anywhere. Well, they finished the third quarter with Nathan Buckley on the bench, and also Gavin Kosciuszko. Russell Morris is down on the boundary line. We might nearly find out. We know that Bucks has got a hamstring. What about Gavin Kosciuszko?
I'm not too sure at the moment, but I'll check it out, because I was still looking at him at the huddle. He didn't seem to have any problems, but maybe it's just giving him a rest. It's so far up they can afford to do that at the moment, Drew.
That is making it a handicap game if you take a bloke off who's played so well before three-quarter time.
Yes, well, I mean, I think Gavin would like to fill his boots, really. I mean, he's probably got a best on ground in the offing. Unless he was crook, I think he'd happily be on the ground.
That's Josh Marnie, another one of the helmeted brigade. Watson contests the mark. He's kicked 4. Francis keen to get a touch of the footy, having not played all that much footy this year. And the crowd has just been released to us here. 39,325. So another boomer for Waverley when, well, the Undertakers had been called in earlier in the season, and nearly 40,000 here tonight between 2 teams in the bottom 4.
Just a quick one, Drew. When Ken Judge walked down the race to come out onto the ground again, the Hawthorn supporters turned on him. It was pretty ugly, and it's an unfortunate thing. They're blaming the coach and they're screaming at the player. So I think it's just one of these things that the Hawthorn supporters aren't used to this sort of performance, especially over the last 15 years.
There's Josh Marnie getting rid of the kick under pressure. This time they can't take a contested mark on the forward line. Robrin back to Rawlings. Rawlings clears the 50. Burns has just been great tonight. I'm not sure that he could keep up the pace that he set in the first quarter. He still had a big night. Well, Marnie's had plenty of it at the start of this last quarter. Oh, great kick. Crow
keeps dropping into holes there, Scotty Crow, and they just keep giving the ball, having his third shot at goal in the second half.
And another beautiful kick.
Yeah, Lee, just on the way out, though, I think it's Hawthorn's inability to assess what's going to happen after their initial release of the ball. Initially, it was Robin who fed the ball off inside, but it was the second play. They weren't aware what was going on up the ground before he actually made that play. Went straight to Collingwood players, and here's the result. 3 unpressured situations, finding opposition players who are loose in the forward 50.
Yeah, there's much been no surety or precision of the Hawthorn rebound out of their defensive area, has there?
That's his third. Oh. Second for Tony Francis.
Yes, they're all getting into the act now, but it's interesting, they still only had 5 goal kickers. Collingwood, Munker's got a couple, Francis a couple, and Crow a couple. Watson 4 and Rocker 5. So there's still pretty much only a handful of players done the scoring, but 15 goals early in the final quarter is a good return.
Should have been 3 for Tony Francis. He missed one in the third quarter, but he kicked 99 times out of 100. Well, they could win this by 100 or more, and that would be an amazing performance in night football. Richardson giving chase, and Francis, just taken off the ball. McCabe, surely. And that is a boundary throw-in.
Also, Drew, from Collingwood's point of view, the percentage is very important at the moment. If they win by over 130 points, they're very close to gaining nearly 8 or 9% and getting up to 100%. So that's vital when it comes to getting to the finals.
Monkhorst was benched late in the third quarter. He's back now. Ball out of bounds on the full. Interesting that Paul Salmon is down at full forward. And the way Hawthorn have played tonight, he mightn't see much of it standing at full forward.
No, it hasn't been getting down deep into attack for Hawthorn. Yeah, the 50-metre areas have been absolutely dominated by Collingwood. They've just starved Hawthorn of possession as this game has progressed, 31-54.
King, his confidence is growing. McDonald into the action. Godden might have been touched. No, the mark is paid to Crow. And Crow from about 50 metres, he's kicked 2. And if he really unloaded with a ripper, he could bring up the ton for Collingwood. Passed it off. Rocker from behind. Robrin in front.
It was just that half-kick situation by Scott Crow. Tried to give Severio Rocker a chance to run and jump at the ball. A good play by Robin.
Dixon. Good spoil by Brown. They're under pressure. King intercepts. Clinton King. Not too good bouncing. Don't do it at night. And Francis goes to ground. Ball out. I must admit, he doesn't look like a league footballer, but he keeps getting it.
Well, he's certainly been good in the couple of games he's played. He's had mid-teen possessions tonight, which is pretty good going for a small half-forward. 17 possessions, in fact. 7 kicks, 10 handballs. That's a good return from a player playing as a permanent small forward.
And on the lead is Crode. Oh, smother. That was by Mal Michael. Kilmartin sees the ball over the line. Well done, Mal Michael.
Just a quick update on the interchange at the moment. Sorry, Barney. Hawthorn, Darren Kepler, Dennis, Woods and Graham. Collingwood have got Buckley with the hamstring. Wild, Chris Siska, nothing wrong with him, and Chad Liddell. And also just to change then, Liddell on for Crow.
I mean, that's terrific to see Mal Michael do that in that situation. He hasn't had much of the footy, only in effect 1 handball and 1 mark. But in doing that, he's not a liability for the team. Terrific stuff.
Well, Gavin Krasiska, 23 possessions before three-quarter time and benched uninjured.
Yeah, that is surprising, unless he's had a bit of problem somewhere or other that they feel he's better off to have a short game, some kind of soreness.
Tony Shaw was cracking a big smile there on the phone.
Well, coaching's good fun when you're 12 in front in the last quarter, I can tell you that.
Get my talents there. Burns, that was dangerous, still dangerous. Well, McDonald, fortunately. Now here's Paul Williams.
He's got about 100 yards in front of him, hasn't he, Drew?
He can go nearly the length of the ground. Off to Patterson. Richardson. He's moved around pretty well, Mark Richardson.
In actual fact, he's had a fairly good year for the Collingwood team, Drew, whether he played down back or in front of the goal.
Rocker, not quite. Richardson's had 10 marks, which is not bad under lights. Treleaven. And the ball just finds the line to the relief of all.
When he's got his confidence up, Rocker, and he's really launching himself at the ball, he has got his hands are a long way up when he leaps at full stretch, when he's confident and really jumping.
Monkey's had a top night. This comes back to Treleaven. He's up to 24 possessions. Patterson. Can't believe he can see under that helmet. Watson not quite. Monkey. He kicked two, but he's giving it off. Marnie. Oh, in front, Richardson. Paid it.
Yes, and as you mentioned Monkhurst a couple of times, I think going into the game, Hawthorn probably would have hoped that Salmon, that mobility around the ground may have been a plus for them, but in that ruck duel, and we see Richardson taking just to probably control the ball on the way down, but certainly in the ruck duels, Monkhurst has controlled that position, so that is, and Scott Burns is being rested as well. Looks like
I'm straight to the phone, actually. You're going straight to the phone. I'm interested to see what the message is.
Well done, I'd say. This is another attempt to even up the game. Richardson, point blank range. Well, that's his first, so just 6 goal kickers for Collingwood.
Yes, he has been good, Mark Richardson. That was his 12th mark, so he's, I think you mentioned a bit before, Mick, he's taken 11 or 12, Rocker's taken 11, so if your two big forwards can mark the ball like that in conditions where it's not the easiest, the ball, bit of moisture around, it's going to be a big plus.
Collingwood have their century, and it's an 81-point lead. They're moving to a win by a century. And I'm sure everyone sets targets. I'm sure that was mentioned at three-quarter time. Patterson, beautiful delivery. Watson.
Training drill stuff, that one. It's interesting to see Collingwood centre bounce crew that time. It was Marnie, Liddell and Patterson, fairly, in terms of experience, relatively inexperienced, but Patterson just good presence of mind. Watson leading from the goal square. Well-weighted kick to give the advantage to Watson to kick his 5th.
Well, this will be a big night for Shane Watson. It bends. Oh, I think it just got home.
Yes, and as that goal was being kicked, Daniel Harford was being interchanged for the Hawthorn team. And just the moment, it's almost a mercy rule for Hawthorn. I think they're quite happy to get off the ground because really it's been a bad game from quarter time onwards, and it is just getting worse.
Pete, can you throw any light on what's going on here?
Well, it's amazing, Drew, that the start of the year, Tony Shaw said we're going to develop a forward line that doesn't rely on one man in Rocker. And I think it's starting to come to fruition a little bit, particularly with Watson doing so well down that forward line. He's had a fine year, Shane Watson.
Crawford, who got a belt over the nose earlier in the game, or around the eyes. Dixon. Oh, they've lost it. That's Liddell getting it up to the 50. Crummell, who'd kicked Hawthorn's only goal for a long, long time. And they've still now only kicked 2 for the night. Salmon can't take the mark. Monkhorst is there to actually rove the crumbs. Comes to Razzo, kicks into the pack. Floated out wide by Leckis. Here's a goal coming up, surely. Dixon along the ground. It's still there. Mal Michael, well done.
Well, Drew, that's just typified the night that Hawthorn's had. Dixon's usually a beautifully balanced kick when going forward to have a shot on goal. Just on that situation there, he had time to balance, but that's just a missed kick for goal. Then a fumble when the Hawthorn player had front position. And Mal Michael did the percentage thing, just pushed the ball across the line.
Well, there might have been 40,000 people at the ground here tonight, but there might only be about 30 at the moment because a lot of the Hawthorn supporters are all on their way home. I think they're pretty much disgusted and embarrassed by this pitiful performance by the guys. So let's hope that they can, I suppose, improve. That they can only improve.
Yes, see a few of them leaving. Oh, Liddell putting on good pressure. He was unlucky there. It spills to Treleaven, and Craig Treleaven misses.
And that's when you've got to make the opposition pay. Paul Williams decided to go directly up the ground, which if it doesn't find your target, that's when you're most vulnerable. More often than not, the opposition will convert and kick truly. Treleaven had a chance to do it on that occasion, but didn't kick truly.
There's McDonald losing out to Aaron Lord. Showed him the ball, weaved between them. Treleaven, a second shot in 10 seconds. This time, no. He missed again. Pity, because he's had a lot of it. He's had 18 kicks.
Usually happens, doesn't it, when you're struggling? 2 goals, 13. So they've had 15 scoring shots, and they've been hard to get in the first place. And you kick 7 goals, 7. It's a bad loss, but I guess it's just a loss. But you kick 2 goals, 13. You're beaten by 15 goals, and it's just demoralising.
Here's Chad Liddell. So Tony Shaw's in the unbelievable position of being able to give game time to some of his second-notch players, while some of his stars sit down uninjured. And if you'd said that 3 weeks ago, you'd have been laughed out of town, because they were desperately chasing a win 3 weeks.
Yes, they were really struggling, and well, it just worked from there. Good players have started to play well. That's what footy's all about, I guess. But once Rocker kicks his 5 goals, Watson shoved in tonight, and he's got his 5. And Burns was very good. Buckley wasn't one of the guns tonight, really. He wasn't in the game. But Williams off halfbacks had a couple of real good games.
Liddell, a good hand pass to King. Steers the pass towards Richardson, who can't take yet another mark. Boundary throw-in. Well, the Collingwood fans are staying till the end. A few of their Hawthorn mates are off. And Fly, I don't think we'll be caught in a traffic jam after tonight. We'll be freewheeling home. Leckis the hand pass. Tallis. Here's Monkey getting back. Oh, well done. He's had 15, was coming up for his 15th possession. Kicked a couple of goals. Williams back to centre wing. Shawball flying confidently. King at the foot of the pack. Leckis in a hurry. And that was a kick and hope. Razzo was there. A rare fumble. Comes back to Razzo. Across the ground. Oh, Gavin Brown worked his opponent under the ball beautifully. Barker said, which way did he go? And then a pretty ordinary kick. He would hate himself for that, wouldn't he?
Well, he could, yeah, though I guess sometimes does pull his kicks, particularly on his left side. But Clinton King's interesting. 2 games in the team, and they've won them both. And his roles have just been critically important. If you can get a ground level forward who can just work to keep the ball in there. And he has played most of the game, most of the year in the reserves, I think. I don't think he's been out injured. All of a sudden he comes into the side and has played just a tremendously important role.
And our ground level forward supposed to have 11 hand passes, or should they be trying to kick some goals?
Well, I think it's just the working. It's not so much the finishing. He hasn't been doing that, but just the working, the chasing, tackling, pressure. Apart from his ability to get the ball in offence, his ability to hold the ball in has just been a really good part of his game.
Dixon, this has got carry on it. It might get there. It does. It's their 3rd.
Yeah, good jumping mark there on that occasion by Dixon. Was the third player up in the contest. Well judged mark. Went back, actually. Salmon led directly at him. Probably could have used him because he got off his direct opponent, but Dixon is a very penetrating kick. Prestigiacomo was Salmon's direct opponent. Lunged valiantly, as we see here in the super slow-mo. Certainly over the line. A much-needed goal for the Hawthorn team.
Hawthorn were goalless in the first quarter. They kicked one in the second, one in the third, and now one in the fourth.
It's interesting to see the situation now, Lee. Also, Schwabel's going wherever Holland's going. Holland's going to the centre square. Schwabel was his direct opponent, the ruckman, on that occasion.
And Monkhurst has gone back into defence, which well, again, we saw it down the opposite end when Salmon picked up Rocker and Rocker came out and took the mark. It's amazing always this principle that big, tall ruckmen have got a chance of playing as a forward, but they've got no chance of playing as a defender to chase a lead.
Monkhurst very upset with himself about running second in that race. Paul Salmon. 49 metres out. Has not made the distance. And the ball rushed through by Prestigiacomo.
And I think that change you spoke about the Collingwood bench has altered that. I think after that one disposal that Schwabel will go back and Monkhurst will stay up on the ball.
Oh, here is Clinton King. Where has he been? How did he get out of the Sydney Swans? And maybe that's part of the answer. The kick to Brown not too flash and the ball out of bounds. But a good mark by young King.
It was, well, just plucked the right hand up.
And Richardson. Still with Mark Richardson, and the ball out of bounds. Yes, eventually. And Peter McKenna, you know all about Clinton King's father.
Yes, Derek King, he was a champion in the old VFA, Drew, and he won the best and fairest of the competition. He was a professional runner, and Derek was one of the legends. Around about the time that Big Bob Johnson, former Melbourne champ, played with Oakley in the VFA.
On you, Pete. He knows his footy at league level, association level, even in Tasmania, Pete. He's an expert on them all.
It's interesting in this ruck situation now. Collingwood have adjusted, as Lee said. Monkhurst now has gone to the true full forward position, picked up by young Rawlings. Schwabel's gone back to Salmon at full back in Hawthorn's forward area, and Richardson now is rucking against Nick Holland.
Good roving by Justin Crawford. And Michael couldn't do anything. He was caught at the back and Crow beat him to it. Salmon's one out and he has the height on Prestigiacomo. Can't mark though. Dixon Robes. They got back there in a blanket, the Collingwood defenders. Paul Williams towards the outer side.
Left footer.
Well, eventually it came back to Chad Liddell, but it didn't look too good off the left hand. And Williams has it again.
And Schwabel looks a lot more nimble on his feet. Seen him round one against Hawthorn when he was opposed to Nick Holland. He looked a lot clumsier. He did a long weights program pre-season. He put on about 7 or 8 kilos. His frame looks a little bit more lighter. He looks far more agile because of that.
Crawford at the front of the pack. He had Buckley earlier on. Nathan Buckley off the ground, damaged hamstring, and it could mean 3 or 4 weeks out of the game for the Collingwood champ. Paul Williams again. What a night he's had. He's had 27 possessions. Patterson goes short. King also had a lot of it. Razzo with good distance inside the 50. Marnie marks, and Josh Marnie, just missed.
Yeah, maybe the handball over the top to Monkhurst in the goal square might have been the far better option.
Could have been on, but really shouldn't have been able to show that body strength against Tallis. And yeah, plenty of lights in the distance, leaving Waverley Park.
Going home to the leafy Hawthorn suburbs and environs, I would suggest. Angelo Lekis. Well, there's only 6 minutes to go. I don't know that Collingwood can win by 100 now. Well, I suppose there's time, but they just might relax and let Hawthorn get a couple. Not intentionally. Williams. Richardson. Kick by Richardson. Here's Monkey. Well, how about a running goal? The running pass, but it didn't reach Watson. Cromwell takes the mark for the Hawks. Holland, he didn't take it. Play on, says the umpire. And they've lost it. Francis. Well, Nick Holland's had a night he'd rather forget. And Sav Rocker in the centre square. There's that many holes in Hawthorn's defence. Looks like a block of Swiss cheese.
Yeah, there's not much pressure out there when a player like Tony Francis can go back about 40 metres and find an unopposed teammate.
Watson to the line. Woods, you'd be wanting to look for the boundary line, and he does. Once played in the black and white. Might wish he still had it on tonight. Funny, isn't it? In recent history, Hawthorn have had all the advantages over Collingwood, but in the early years, I think they celebrated with a public holiday when Hawthorn beat Collingwood after about 50 years.
Yeah, certainly a few decades ago, Collingwood, when they were always the powerhouse, and Hawthorn were really struggling side up until the 60s. It would, I think 1961 might have been the first time that Hawthorn beat Collingwood, if I can recall correctly. Not that I was around in the footy scene then, Drew.
Now Marnie, make up for the last one. Oh, he's missed again. And Monkey's in the goal square with 2 goals to his name, saying, me,
and
me.
looking for his third.
Oh,
looking desperately for his third. He might have kicked a couple of goals before Monkey, but I doubt whether he's actually got through.
Well, isn't it like batsmen love taking wickets?
I don't care where you're playing footy, Drew, you like kicking goals.
Angelo Leckis. What a tide they've faced, the Hawthorn defence tonight. McDonald at the back. Started his career at Hawthorn. He was the #1 pick in the draft way back in '88. Free here against Patterson in '50.
Well, we've commented a few times about the eye line of that helmet. I mean, it's one thing to protect your head, but you can't have terrific vision about out of that helmet.
He wouldn't have had a clue whether the ball had gone or was still there. Oh, here's Sav, who's kicked 5, taking the mark at half back.
He's just having a run in the ruck in the stage of the quarter, Drew, and I've got no doubt Severio Rocker could be a very valuable ruckman as long as he could adjust to the work rate required, because he does pick up the flight very well when the ball comes through.
Well, that leaves Monkey at full forward. Ooh. Oh, Watson for another one. This time, Josh Marnie.
Well, they're enjoying their footy, Nick.
They certainly are. It's amazing when you do run forward, you gain that little bit of extra speed, as Josh Marnie did on this occasion. Shane Watson let his teammate go forward, just got the kick in before the goal line approached, and he is one jubilant man. Allah, thank God for that. Terrific stuff, Josh. A little bit of exuberance goes a long way.
Josh Marnie really celebrated after kicking his 3rd career goal in the AFL. 3 1/4 minutes to go. Maybe they can win by a century yet. Richardson. Would that have been spoken about at 3/4 time by Tony Shaw, Lee, do you believe?
Not about the century, but I think, yes, you say every goal, and Monkhurst finally is out reach, but he's given it away to King.
And good play. Yeah, that's terrific play by Damien Monkhurst. Encourages in small level, ground level players. He knows who works hard out there on the night. Just rewarding a young player who's been exceptionally good in that part of the ground, trying to do the right thing by his teammates and keeping the ball in. Richardson, who did take his 13th mark, got the ball forward. No body strength there by Rawlings. Lost his direct opponent in Monkhurst. Good vision. Easiest of goals. Macca.
Yes, I think it's almost got embarrassing for Hawthorn now, Drew. But I think it's been terrific, the use of Severio Rocker, as Lee said earlier in the game. He's become a really team-oriented player. He plays up around centre-half forward. He can go into the ruck. And it's going to be terrific in future years for Collingwood if they can use Rocker not merely purely as a full forward.
Liddell got it out pretty well then. Lekas around the corner. Well, 2 more goals for Collingwood and they can win by 100. And there's 2.5 minutes left. Brown. Gavin Brown. Ball jolted free by Barker. And that'll be a baller.
It's interesting you mentioned just before, Mick. I agree. I think Severio Rocker, if it wasn't the fact that he can be such a good goal kicker, I think he could be a devastating ruckman.
Yeah,
but as you say, what he needs is to play there for a month to kind of adjust his fitness level to what's needed to sort of work around the ground. But gee, just him floating around the ground, his kicking skills and his marking power, he could be an absolutely devastating big man follower.
I suppose most of his spells in the ruck have been against the number 2 type ruckman or a non-specialist ruckman like Nick Holland now. But how would he go against a Wren or a Scott
Well, I think he'd go all right, but again, he'd have to do it for a while. He just a month or so. So you do it. It's a different fitness level, Mick, isn't it?
Yeah,
playing in the ruck than it is playing as a key forward.
Michael. Mal Michael was benched for a fair period in the middle part of the game.
It was interesting, the game against Adelaide, Drew, when they just played the conventional approach. Wren had about 15 or 16 possessions only 3 weeks ago, and Rocker had the same when he started in the ruck. But maybe it might be a different story as Watson takes a terrific mark against an Everett or someone of that nature who does stream forward and play as an extra forward.
Well, Watson's kicked 5, 51 metres out. He's unloaded. He's offline. Behind. That's 5-2 to Shane Watson. And aren't they having a great time, the Collingwood fans? 1.25 minutes left. And they still need 2 goals to win by 100 or over 100. So they'll fall a bit short, a bit like the Bulldogs did earlier today. Kilmartin for Hawthorn. 92 points. Salmon. He'll get a free kick. Paul Salmon right in front.
Yeah, the height factor when he was in front, and Shawbull, I think, just panicked a little and tried to jump off Salmon, but it meant he got into his back before the ball had arrived, and the umpire pretty quickly blew through. So let's have a look at it. He just goes a little bit early because he's scared of the height, and he affects the spoil, but it clambered over Salmon's back in the meantime.
Paul Salmon, scoreless tonight. Going for Hawthorn's 4th goal only. And as he should, he does.
Yes, 4 goals, 14, 19 goals, 10, 18 scoring shots to 29, but a gigantic margin, isn't it? That Salmon said it was critical. I think that Monkhurst had probably had the better of that duel in the ruck. That was one area where Hawthorn may have thought they would have had the advantage, and they've certainly had the advantage in most other areas of the game.
So now back in the middle with just 36 seconds left. Collingwood haven't won at Waverley this year. They haven't beaten Hawthorn at Waverley this decade. So what a turnaround tonight under lights. Winning by almost a century. And Paul Williams, well, they're queuing up to get the votes. I'm not sure how you two blokes who's giving votes. It'll be a difficult task.
Yeah, no, they've had some good players tonight. Burns' first half was just sensational. He's been off the ground later in the game, but Williams all night off half-back. He's had a couple of very good games off half-back, which is why Hawthorn went to try Woods on him.
Here it is. What a moment of triumph for the Pies. A long run of outs against Hawthorn. They not only beat them, they absolutely slaughtered them. 86 points the margin, and will they sing this with some gusto?